so excited about our new uniforms. Hi guys, my name is Lindsay and I'm with Perfectly Pastry. Who is Perfectly Pastry? We are a local bakery in Waterloo, Illinois. How are you doing? For whatever reason, my light maybe it's my glasses. I'm like, I cannot see for the life of me. Like, I'm not sure. It's probably because I have dirty glasses. Let's try this again. No, I still can't see it. I'm like, it's very like bright and reflective in my eyes today, but I think it's because I have a lot of smudges on my glasses. And yes, I did just use my t-shirt because I probably have a cloth somewhere and I just don't know where it is. Anyways, how are you doing? That was totally off subject, but it is driving me crazy. So if you see me doing this a lot, it's because I'm trying to avoid the glare in my eyes today. Anyways, so I am so excited. I don't have a true topic. Like usually I'm like, let's talk shop and then let's get to the topic. My topic today is the shop. So last week I talked to you guys and I let you know about what we carry in our shop and what we order in our shop. And I thought this week I'd talk a little bit about some of I don't know that the word changes, improvements. Ooh, that's the word we're going to choose today. Let's talk about some of the improvements, enhancements that we've made over the last several days. So those of you who started coming in, I don't really know when we started that project. Ooh, I don't know, October, November, December, January, February, somewhere. It's all kind of a blur for us. We kind of changed the way that the shop was. So when you walked in, like our station was like pretty far back. And when my husband came to the shop for the first time, he was like, you really should move this forward and create some working space behind the checkout counter for you guys. And he was like, you should really partition this off and then have this space so that when somebody walks in, they can see you and be greeted by you versus like having to look around the corner. I was like, oh, that's pretty ingenious, right? And so then we we went on a hunt to find partitioners. We were like, we need to build a wall. How are you going to build a wall? What are we going to do? We bought some like janky little things from Amazon. It was a terrible idea. And then we thought, okay, we'll try to like revamp these things. That didn't work. I like wanted to order these like office separators for desk, and my sister was like, those are hideous. Like, that is terrible. First of all, you can see over them and under them, and you don't want somebody staring, not staring, but like when somebody walks into the shop and like we're in behind working on the computer, you don't want that to be the first impression, right? Is us on the computer, right? So the whole point of building the partition would be to allow us an office space, not allow us to just be an office when somebody walks in, right? So like that did not work. My sister's like, let's use bookshelves. And I was like, that sounds horrible. So just so everybody knows, I am terrible at visualizing. When it comes to like physically imagining something in my mind. Now I can visualize like, oh, here's a process. And if we do it this way, it'll work great, right? Like that makes sense to me. But if somebody's like, let's paint this wall. Now I'm pretty sure I've said this before. Somebody's like, let's paint this wall. I'm like, I don't know, that sounds hideous. And my husband literally has to like, this last time I made him like paint most of the wall so I could decide what I think, but a lot of times he'll like digitally put it on there for me and things like that. So my sister's like, it's gonna look great. And I'm like, it sounds horrible. Oh, it was like, I don't know. So she rolled with it one day. She was like, I went ahead and just did it. I do those things to her all the time. So, it's okay that she did it to me. So she went out, she got some bookshelves and she arranged them where two of them, the back faces the front door, and then one of the bookshelves faces the door. So when you walk in, it kind of creates a little partition, and then we have the computer set up behind there so that we can run labels and stickers and all of the jazz that needs to be kept back there. And so the original plan is like, okay, we're going to paint them white. So we painted them white and we are like, oh, we should really put like that greenery. And okay, this is totally like a TikTok, Instagram, inspirational Pinterest idea, right? So like the greenery with the flowers and like the neon sign, like it's going to look cute. I don't know if you know, but that greenery is extremely expensive. Like that, it's almost like a astroturf type of grass stuff, right? It was not very cheap. And so we were like, oh, I don't know that I want to invest all this money in fake grass and some flowers for these bookshelves, right? Like the fake grass and the flowers were like 4 times more than what the bookshelves that we bought were, right? Like it was ridiculous. But my sister got a game plan, and so she's finally being able to execute it. So they've been white and plain for a while, right? Because we just needed to figure out our next step. Then I was on Amazon and I got a neon sign for under $100, and it says Perfectly Pastry and it's hot pink, and we are in love. It's also super bright. oddly enough. And I saw the deal and I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And once I got it, my sister's like, okay, now we gotta figure out the flowers, right? So my sister's been diligently working on creating the flower backdrop on these bookshelves to go with our neon sign. So she's been spending the last couple of days doing that, and it looks so good. I am so excited. I'm like, okay, so those of you have been on this journey way back in the day. Like I'm talking like when we first opened, we were like, how do we launch this? How do we get people excited about our new shop? Okay, and this was back when we were in St. Louis. And I was like, the only idea I could come up was progress pictures. And like my sister and I were driving from Florida back up north, and we were like trying to brainstorm, and I was like, progress pictures. And then like we'd pick up the topic again. By the way, my sister hates being stuck in the car driving from Florida to Illinois with me, because she's like, I don't want to talk shop. I want to see you. I haven't seen you in X amount of months. I'm like, you only want to talk shop with me. I'm like, that's because I've trapped you in a car for 16 hours. And so now you can't go anywhere. So you have to talk shop with me. Anyway, so I like progress pictures. So the 16-hour trip, we like made this plan, and every time my idea was progress pictures. It's probably not as funny as I think it is, whatever. Anyway, so we're like driving, and I was like, okay, seriously, let's sit down and let's tackle this. And I get my paper and I get my pen, and I'm like, all right, what idea? And Lacey's like, oh my gosh, I have the best idea. She's like, this is going to make us stand out. And I'm like, what? And she's like, progress pictures. I can't even say that without laughing. And I know when my sister watches this, she's going to die laughing, because it's like obviously an inside joke, but like, she's like, oh, progress pictures. And I was like, you know what? Forget you, right? Like that was not the choice of word I used at the time, but let's just, for this family friendly video, we'll say that's what I said. And so now I'm at it again. I'm like, can I have progress videos? Can I have progress pictures? And she's like, seriously, dude, you and this progress obsession is ridiculous. But I think it's because I can't visualize. So I need to see what it looks like. Like, oh, I want to see it. But one of the things that I do is I'm like, why aren't you done yet? Like, you've been working on this all day and you only have one side done. Like, why is it taking so long? And she's like, seriously? She says, I don't have enough patience. I think she just works slow. That's the sister in me. I'm like, you work slow. And she's like, you're so impatient. She's always like, it's never enough for you. It's always, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Secretly, I'm not. And that's because I love her, but it's okay. Yeah. So if you're like, oh my gosh, sounds exciting. I did post in my Instagram stories the other day, so I'm pretty sure that it's gone, a progress picture. And I will promise to post some more over the next couple days when I get them from her. I like the ones I got last night. Oh my gosh, I was like so excited. I'm so bummed that I'm not there to see it in person, because it is like everything we had hoped it to be. Like I can't even with that. And then more exciting news, because like what's more exciting than an amazing flower wall with an amazing neon sign that says our name? By the way, we tried to put the sign outside because everybody tells us we need a sign outside. It didn't work, but we are working on getting a sign outside. That has to be the next project, right? I would love if you guys drop in the comments like some suggestions on what we should do for our sign. Like everybody's always like, you need a sign, and we do. The problem that we have with the sign, A, is we have to get approval from the city on where we put it, right? Like we can't just put it anywhere. But B, we're actually set off from the square slightly. So we are obviously down off the square, but we're also like set back compared to the buildings next to us. So if you're on the square, if we had a sign, it would be like on the sidewalk and you wouldn't be able to see it. And then I guess if you came directly on, you would see, but you also see the door. And if you're driving past it, like heading towards the square, honestly, I don't know the names of the roads. Please don't be mad at me. But if I'm like driving onto the square, I mean, I don't know how noticeable. Me, it's noticeable because like we have this like cling on the front door and stuff. But yeah, so like a sign. We got to figure out what to do with the sign. My mom was like, we should do a digital sign. But like, I don't know what to do or how to put it. And then my husband's like, oh, you should get a really nice wooden sign that's like meant for outside, which I think sounds really pretty. And then I'm like, do we put it on the building? Do we put it like next to stairs? I don't know. Problems, right? Those are the problems. So we got to figure out. So if you guys have some sign suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comments. Like, let us know. All right. So now the next enhancement, level up, whatever you want to call it, is we are officially getting shirt uniforms for the shop. Yes, it is a shirt that we talked about making back when we first opened up. in St. Louis. And then we were like, oh, maybe people won't find our jokes so funny with the shirts. Maybe we shouldn't do it. As we've grown as a company, we've learned to embrace who we are and be like, these are the shirts we're going to make. If people like them, they like them. And if they don't have to buy them and they don't have to wear them. It's like, it's fine. But to us, they're really funny. So we are definitely going ahead with our shirts. We're really, really excited. We partnered with Burnt Silk. They helped us design them. They're going to help us print them. So I posted on social media about the shirts. We are currently going to have a pre-order sale until the 23rd. So that is Sunday. And on Sunday, I'm closing it down and we are ordering all of the shirts. So if you want to get a pre-order in, I will drop the information in the comments because Facebook, which is where this is originally streaming on, does not like you to put links in the descriptions. Like they don't like you to take people off of the platform. So I'm going to follow by the rules and I'll just post in the comments. If you're interested, I'll drop the link and information into the comments. So if you want to get a shirt, it's also on our Facebook page. It's also on our Instagram page. And I shared it on our stories. So we are going to be taking orders for that. We are only going to do tie-dye black or yellow right now. So if you're interested in one of those, they are really cute. So go check them out. But yes, we are going to be closing that on April 23rd. And then we are officially going to have uniform t-shirts and we are really, really excited about that. And then my sister was like, can you get me a crew neck? So there's also the opportunity to get a crew neck if you'd like it as well, a crew neck sweater. Actually, my sister and my niece want one really bad, and I think I'm going to order one. I know that I live in Florida, but you'd be surprised how easily you get cold after living in Florida for a couple of years. You acclimate to the weather really well. It was so funny because we were talking about, as in a team meeting for the other job that I work for, and we were talking about the weather. Yeah, I guess it was a meeting. We were talking about the weather and they were talking about how like it snowed up north. So like my husband's cousin sent me a snap and like she has snow all over her car and stuff. And the other weekend, I think it was 2 weekends ago, my husband and I were at one of the malls. So our malls and centers are like outdoors most of the time. They're not really indoors. And so I was outdoors and my husband was in the shop and I really didn't want to be in there. So I like sat down outside and I was sitting by the water fountain because we have lots of water fountains. And I was like, oh, it's so tranquil. I'm like, the sun is out, like it's warming my skin. There's this nice breeze. I'm like, what an amazing, beautiful day. My husband comes out and I'm like, isn't this weather so amazing? And we like get in the car and I look at the temperature because I'm like, I wonder what the temperature is. It was 95. It was 95. It was 95. And I was like, what a beautiful day with this amazing light breeze on me. And like, I'm like telling this story and they're like, you are so out of touch with the reality when it comes to the weather. And I'm like, I really am. I really am 70 and I've got like a hoodie. Like it was, it was like 62 the other morning and my daughter brought a winter coat. She's like, it is so cold out here. I need my coats. She went in and got her coat. They do have winter coats because we still go back up north when it's cooler. Yeah, so she had to bring her winter coat to school. Now, by the end of the day, it was 85, so she was fine. But it was 62 and she was chilly. It was really funny. But yeah, I know. You guys are like, we don't need to hear about it. It's been raining. I know you guys have had all those tornadoes, that crazy weather blowing through there. My mom and my sister obviously keep me updated because like, they've been like, hey, we had to go to the basement or we're heading to the basement. Actually, I was on the phone with them and they were like, I was like, I can hear the wind like through the phone. Like I can hear how bad it's like how windy it is. As just like when it recently blew through you guys. And my mom's like, yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go down in the basement. I was like, okay, be safe. Let me know how things are going. Yeah, so crazy, crazy, crazy weather. We had that happen to us before we moved. We lived in Perryville, Missouri. And the year that we ended up moving, we had a tornado blow through. It was a mile, thank goodness, from my house. So like it didn't hit my house, but it was definitely freaky. And my sister and I, we like took the kids down into the basement before the sirens went off. We took the kids down in the basement and we like cranked up music and stuff because we could like hear the pressure of the wind and we were like, oh, it's getting really wicked out there. But we had the music up so we couldn't hear the alarms. Of course, it went off on our phone eventually, but we were trying to keep all the kids calm. So we were like having a dance party and then like all the wind and stuff stopped. So we like go upstairs and like we could hear all the ambulance. It was really creepy to be like, what's happening? Because like there was no power. My husband was out of town. My sister was staying at my house with her kids. So her husband was at home, which we lived in the same town, but like my sister lived in the country and I lived in town. So, that's like, it was like 15-minute drive, to where my sister lived at or whatever. So my sister's husband was on the other side of it, and we were on the other side of the path. Thank goodness none of us were in the path. My husband's like in Florida because it was before he moved. I call him, I tell him what happened. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm at a fancy dinner with his boss, like sipping wine, and here we are like trying to make sure everything's okay. It was crazy. So I can only imagine what everybody is going through, because it was just mind blowing that like the destruction that I had caused in the township. And like it took out like my friend's childhood home. Now she doesn't live there anymore. But it wiped out one of my cousin's houses. It was crazy. It was so crazy just to have all of it. And we lucked out. So I cannot even imagine what all of you guys are going through right now. So I just want, now that I guess I was like negative, I guess, I don't know if you call it negative or Debbie Downer, I just wanted to reach out and like let you guys know, like, I'm sorry for all of those that had the devastation. Like it's definitely, I am like petrified of tornadoes. I grew up in Texas, Tornado Alley, and I'm like petrified of it. So like my kids and we talk about it a lot. My daughter's like, why are you so scared of them? And like, we talk about them. We look out here in Florida because it's not as common compared to like what it is up north. Oh, I like visually shake from it. Like I am like not a storm chaser at all. So those of you who are like, no, I love storms. I'm like, no, thanks. I don't care. The minute it starts raining when I'm up north, I'm like, I'm just going to go chill in the basement. I'll just sit here all day because like scares the living bejesus. My sister's always makes fun of me because one time we were in, it was when my sister and them lived in St. Louis, and I came into town because I lived in Chicago at the time, and I came into town and the sirens went off and I was upstairs sleeping, and my eldest niece and my eldest daughter, they were probably 4 or 5, and I came running down the stairs. I was big and pregnant because I was pregnant with my second one. I come running, and I have the two of them in a football hold, and my sister and them were kind, and they let me sleep in their room upstairs. So they were sleeping on the fold out couch because they're very kind. And I like have the younger two, or I guess the older two, and I like leap over them while they're sleeping. I just leave them behind, and I take the other two kids and I go find safety. And my sister and my brother-in-law sit up and they're like, what just happened? And I was like, the alarms went off. Get in here. And they're like, walk in. I like have a t-shirt on. My brother-in-law was like, could you have at least put on pants? Because I only have my underwear on. And I was like, I panicked. I didn't know what to do. They're like, you came barreling through here. Yeah, that's how crazy I can be. All right. I obviously started talking a whole lot about nothing. I'm so sorry about that. If you guys are interested in the t-shirts, I will drop them down in the comments. If you're like, oh, I have a sign idea, please let me know in the comments because I'm really racking my brain on what we should do. All right, you guys, I am going to hop off of here. If you're watching this on Facebook, you should be liking and following us on Facebook. If Facebook's not your jam, we understand. We are on other social media as well. Facebook is the only one that we're at Perfectly Pastry Bakery. All the other ones, we are at Perfectly Pastry. All right, you guys, I will hop off of here and I'll see you again next week. Bye.